Hi, my name is Janelle Shaw. I'm part of the CA pre-sales team, and today I wanted to make a quick video to help explain a concept that comes up with every application team that we partner with, and that is the expectation of the agent footprint. So the question often is phrased, what's the impact? What's the footprint of the agent? Is there any overhead? Set an expectation for me. And all of us skid pre-sales engineers say, it depends. And it sounds like we're dodging the question or we're being cheeky, and that's not the case at all. It truly does depend on a number of different factors. So today I'm going to use some visual aids and help you understand why do we say it truly does depend on a number of different things. So let's take a look. Okay, so to prove this point, what I've done, I've taken two measuring cups and I filled them both with water, equal amounts of water, pretty equal anyway. And you could think of these maybe as two applications, and maybe they're both Tomcat applications, so they have similarities. There's obviously going to be differences between application instances. You might have JDK version differences or memory allocation differences or platform differences, but in general, these are pretty two equally sized or similar applications. Now you think about the agent that we add, and there's different size agents. So think of it almost as a small, medium, large. You completely control the agent size. So by default, we typically start with a typical agent size. So enough visibility so that you're getting insight into the right things in the application, but it's not instrumenting like a profile. It's not too heavy from an impact perspective, and it's not too light where it's not providing good value. So if we take that typical application and add in a typical size agent, you can see the impact is pretty negligible, right? Not a lot of difference. Now likewise, what if I instrument heavier? Maybe we collect additional settings in certain environments, like you turn on JMX for Tomcat as an example, or there's additional logic that you'd like to instrument more heavily, and you have that behave a little bit differently. Notice more extensions loaded, more visibility, a slightly more impact potentially on the application. The agent is physically different than the default agent. Nothing wrong with that as long as you're getting the visibility that you need, and you have complete control over that. Should you decide, no, maybe we don't need this in production, let's go with a more lightweight agent in production where you really don't notice any sort of an impact whatsoever. So and when I'm talking about impact, most of my customers measure that through CPU changes in the Java process. Some customers look at it strictly from a response time perspective. Do we see a change in response time with the agent being instrumented? So I'm going to go ahead and take this small application away and compare it with, say, a large application, right? A large application that maybe has a lot more transactions or a lot more volume or a lot more logic. There's so many differences. Maybe it's just a completely different type of a platform. And again, if we take that same concept, even a large agent in a large application, you can see there's benefits to being able to collect that additional visibility. But most of the time, we're not running a maximum size agent. We're running a typical or a very light configuration. So if I put a typical agent inside of that large application, the impact is not as substantial. Now, the one other factor to think about, and this is something that sometimes application teams take offense to, and I don't mean for you to take offense to it, is these are very stable environments right now. If I start to move this around and get the water stirring, it's a lot harder to know what is our starting level before we add the agent. So if I take the agent back out, right? If the application has instability, if it does not have consistent response times, or it does not have a consistent behavior, just like here, we don't know exactly at this moment how much water is in the glass, right? Exactly what is typical footprint for the application. So if I add the agent into an application that's unstable, it's a lot harder to tell the impact that the agent has on the application. And so if your application, how can we verify that, right? Can you consistently run 3 load tests and expect the same results each time? Have reliable and consistent results from a performance perspective, so response time perspective, or from a resource consumption perspective. And if you see a lot of variance between those 3 runs, then there's some instability. It's going to make it a lot more challenging for us to help you determine what is the effect of monitoring. So hopefully that, although silly, visualization, hopefully it was effective in helping solidify why we say variations in the application and the environment and the agent configuration are all contributing factors into what you can expect from an agent footprint perspective. It's widely accepted in physics, the concept of the observer effect, where merely the act of observing a situation or observing an application in this case has an impact. It has an effect on that situation or that application. And it's our goal here at CA to make sure that that is as minimal and no low impact as possible. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or send me an email. Have a great day.